How is it going out there, my fellow world patriots? Let me put this little cover thing on here. It is indeed Wednesday, October 29th, 2025, and boy, is the time a flying. So if you guys remember, maybe about a month ago, I had a wonderful woman named Miss Patty Greer on with me, and we touched on her company, in which she's the CEO of C60 Evo. Excuse me. And we got to talking, and let me just unveil the screen and pop on Patty. Hey, Patty, what's up? And so,
Hey,
and so we were talking about some of the things that we've done, and well, wouldn't you know, Patty has previously done some of the things that I found to be some of the most interesting things in like the woo world or whatever you want to call it, but crop circles. And there's been a lot of debate over the years about like, oh, people were faking them, and we know the difference between. I believe we know the difference between the fake ones of the people trying to do them with boards where they just look like they're broken, and we'll get into some of the proofs as to why some of them are real, but some of the just geometric patterns and designs are just in my opinion, they're just some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen too, Patty. But how are you doing today? Before we get into all that business, how are you doing today, Miss Patty Greer?
I'm doing great. I live in Sanctuary, Colorado, and because of the cutbacks, they've cut back the chemtrails. And
Nice.
I wake up every day going, "Oh my God, blue! I remember that." So we have some nights where they're misbehaving, but I really am grateful for the evolution of humanity. I think we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I do. I do too as well. And this is so funny because I'm telling you, like years ago, I was consuming everything I could in these various different areas, like crop circles, UFOs, conspiracies, this, that, and the other. And then fast forward 10, 15 years, I kind of now understand why I had the craving maybe back then to do it. But I think that's basically why I was probably consuming your information even back then and not even remembering. And then I was like, wait, you were the one, you were the crop circle lady. That is crazy.
Yep.
So you started doing all these videos on it. But before we get into that, because you're so nice with your time, and I would like to give you a couple minutes, and then we'll do it at the end as well to go over your wonderful. I think it's a wonderful product as well, and I feel great that I've been on it. And we're going to do a little toast here in front of the in front of the folks. But I had a question for you before we do that, Patty. Um,
Yeah.
so I have in my hand, I'm shaking them up right here. The C60 Evo capsules, and it said you could take up to six. But I remember in the video we did like a month ago, you were like your friend said like take two, and I've been taking about three of them, and I'm just like woof, like oh my goodness, like clarity I feel, and then it wakes me up, and also like I can't overstate like the best way I could look at it is it's almost like you're injecting oil or lube into my knees, right? And I've talked about my knee in the past and how it
Your
like
joints.
yeah, my walking, it's not so much walking up the stairs, it's my left knee walking down the stairs. And it's like that pressure on my kneecap. And when I take this stuff, I'm telling you that stuff absolutely goes away. Now, my question to you is me and you are going to toast. And I've already taken three of these capsules maybe 3 hours ago or so. Is that okay to take with the oil, the olive oil that you have and that I have here as well? I got my little spoon just in case, which I think it's probably going to be okay, right?
Absolutely. People either take a teaspoon or a tablespoon. Now, because I had some really heavy detoxing to do after the years of being in ufology, UFOlogy, um, I was poisoned really severely intentionally. And so I took a lot of Evo. So a teaspoon or a tablespoon is what we recommend before noon because it gives you a lot of energy. When you take the capsules, they're pretty good size, but literally a teaspoon is six capsules. So you're getting a lot of the gelatin wrapped around some oil, but it takes six to be a teaspoon. For some reason, when people take fewer, they get a huge buzz anyway because this miracle molecule, the ESS60, won the Nobel Prize in 1996 for its excellence in every application tested. They never tested it, though, for people and pets until 2012. So it is strong, it is potent, and our lab is the only one in America making the good stuff, which is pure C60, carbon 60 fullerenes for people and pets. There's a lot of industrial grade C60 from China on the market, which is really sad. But that's what I'm seeing. And it's kind of like the end of the field of ufology. That's what I'm seeing. Everybody died in a short period of time that was a great and real researcher, in my opinion. And it
Oh,
was too weird. And then they were all replaced by bad actors, we call them. And that's
oh
pretty
yeah.
much what people are listening to today. So, no, I don't follow the field. I don't go to the events. I have zero interest because I watched it get demolished. It was infiltrated and demolished. And
Infiltrated, yeah. That happens a lot, unfortunately, in a lot of different venues.
yes, well, we're going to say we're survivors. I want to congratulate your entire audience because we're at the end of 2025 almost, and we're all still here. Like
Yeah.
we survived so much crap. It
Um,
boggles my mind. And if it wasn't for this oil, I probably wouldn't be here. So I'm going to fill my spoon. Are you
I'm
filling
doing
yours?
I'm doing the same, and I didn't go with that little weak teaspoon. I went with the tablespoon too. I'm not saying
Hey,
I'm not saying your tablespoon. I don't even know what your
cheers.
spoon looks like. Mine's a big one. Here we go. Cheers.
Now, if you do a tablespoon right now of olive oil, you're going to notice it within 15 minutes on the air. And your
Nice.
audience is going to notice the change in you where you might start talking quicker, but your brain is going to really impress you.
Start firing along.
Yeah, and why is that? It's because this molecule literally goes in and it cleans the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of every cell. And most of us, especially me at the time I started taking it, are really toxic for whatever reason.
Mm.
And this goes in and it's like a roto-rooter and it takes a lot of the toxicity right out of your system by neutralizing the bad toxicity in your mitochondria. The brain has 2 million mitochondria per cell. So the brain's going to be the first to notice. Old people might get a little memory back. My mom is 96 and she's on fire. I can't believe it. She
Awesome.
should be my testimonial. She's one of them. I talk about her every show because she's just wow. And I'm 72, and the comeback I've made after two attempts on my life, it's only because of the C60 Evo, and that's why I promote it, and that's why I'm lucky enough to be on your show. But you
Yes.
know the secret of who I am behind the curtain, which is why I had to find a miracle molecule to help me live. And this stuff does. So I am happy to talk about what I knew and why they needed to silence me. And as I'm looking at all the government silencing that we lived through in the Joe Obama 4 years,
Ugh.
I call it the Joe Obama years. It's amazing we survived. And had they cheated another election, we would have a very different situation today. And I live in
True.
Kami, Colorado, so a lot of my neighbors are still flying their No Kings flags
Ugh.
and, and their colorful pride flags. And to each their own, but don't do that in the face of my grandkids. And my
No.
kids don't stuff it down there. So we're homeschooling, but we actually bought
Good for
RVs. We're
you.
road schooling our kids.
Good for
So
you. That's the best. And I'm so surprised that Colorado is like a commie state. I really am because I hear when you get off the airport or out of the airplane, it's like all you smell is marijuana. So I figured that would be more, more conservative. I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
that's funny when you get off.
But I want to make a good point though here, Patty, too, because we talked about this, and I was going to pull up the auto pen thing, but let's not bother with that stuff. But I wanted to show this because you know here is you 7 years ago, and I would contend you look just as good, if not better, now today, 7 years later.
Thank you.
That is, and people can see right here. This video is from 7 years ago, crop circles. So, and actually, I always meant to ask you, the Greer last name. Do you happen to be related to the Steven guy? Because I know there was a little part where you guys bumped a compass
Oh,
together, but I don't know if you were related at all.
he's such a wannabe me. No, he just changed his name because he wanted to act related. No, I'm kidding. We're related. He's not my grandfather, and we're not married. And no, a lot of people think so because I met him in 2010 in a crop circle. He had a group of people that paid thousands of dollars to be there with him, and I was there with my movie camera. And I always go to the center of the circle to film, and it was like, oh God, what are these people doing in my way? Ugh, there's 15 of them. And my boyfriend's behind me going, what are you going to do? And I look over and I said, oh, shoot, it's Stephen Greer. Hey. And I didn't think he'd recognize me. And he introduced me to his group as this great filmmaker. So we had a really nice first meeting in a crop circle. And that photo gets out to the public every now and then, but that's all I have of me and Stephen Greer. He did speak highly of my films, which I appreciate because he's got a lot of fans, but no, I
Yeah.
don't share anything with him other than a last name.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted, I just didn't know, the Greer name. I don't hear that all the time. But yeah, it was somewhere in this area right here that you guys bumped into, you were showing compasses where, and one of the characteristics that will show of this is like inside these things when they're truly made, they like swirl. There's a vortex that's going on. And so the fake ones, they can't do it. And, there's so many different ways I think to prove, but let's talk about just for a second before, and then we'll talk about how like you got into it and whatnot. But like, what is it like sitting inside of one of those things? Because I've heard you, you say it on the videos and what you experience, but like I have you live here, so I might as well ask you in person. Like, what does that actually feel like?
Well, while I'm talking about it, pull back on this image a teeny bit so people can see. It's dry wheat, a big field of wheat, maybe an acre or two is what you're looking at. Go backward and see if we can get the full image of this. It's like a 3D crop circle. And when you look at it, see, there's too many
Let's
crop circles for you to find one.
59,
Anyway,
55. I got some timestamps. No, yeah, I got some timestamps on some ones. I put some
so you're zooming through my whole movie. It's an hour and 18 minutes of amazement. Uh, and I thought I was done making movies, and then I got introduced to this lady you keep seeing, Penny Kelly, who was the secret weapon of the only scientist who knew crop circles were real. And boy, did they try and diss me. Oh my God, it was awful. But I got to go in the crop circles. Now, you asked what it feels like inside a crop circle. It's outer worldly because your hairs are standing up on your arms, even girl hairs, little teeny hairs, and the back of my neck and the top of my head just tingly. But what I found most intriguing was walking in the tractor line where they say, just keep on going, you'll find it. And you're just walking in a big, huge field of wheat, and you have no idea until all of a sudden the hair stands up on your arms, the back of your neck, the top of your head, and the frequency changes. And all of a sudden, you're in this spinning vortex of plasma, and I feel, and anybody that's sensitive can feel the difference inside a crop circle and 20 feet away. But I'm telling
wow.
you, 10 feet before we got there, I would turn around every single time with my one eyebrow going silently, can you feel that? And everybody would just nod.
Yeah.
And they knew, look at this moment. Now that was authentic. I was in my glory, in my druid coat that I bought in Glastonbury, and they'd had a hood with a long point that went down to my butt. So that was like the coolest felt druid coat, and it kept me warm. I was an animal. I went in every crop circle that showed up. And in those days of 2010, 20, no, 2007 and 8 and 9, we had like 150 crop circles each summer documented around the world, and over 75 of them were within 20 miles of England, of the Avebury Stone Circle in southern
Neat.
England. Behind me is the, what was that called? Silbury Hill, which was a sacred mound. And this area, there's Stonehenge, and then there's the Avebury Stone Circle, even larger and older, but not as well known as Stonehenge. And then keep going, and there's Glastonbury over there. So, in that whole 40-mile round radius, most of the crop circles, I would say, were appearing and being documented. And that's where I would stay in the epicenter, just wake up in the morning, go into the B&B for brunch, and the owners would usually, if they knew what they were doing, they'd say, oh, new crop circle right across the street. And I mean, it was breathtaking because I was always right there. And I went for 9 weeks when I first discovered them. I went back for 9 weeks the next year and the year after, and I didn't miss a formation. And when somebody came and yelled up to my balcony, I was exhausted after doing a couple in the morning. Because some of them you have to hike really far into. And if it's wet at all, you have to wear these big rubber wellies, which are big boots that go up to your knee, heavy rubber, so you can get through the mud. And yeah, I worked out, and it was one of the greatest times of my life. But what you feel is definitely not like you want to talk to anybody. You want to just be there. And I would always lay back
Hmm.
in the middle of the formation, put my head in the very center, and close my eyes. And I didn't know what to expect, but after I did that in 2007, yeah, 2007, in August, I laid in a crop circle called, can't remember what it's called. Okay, I can't win the quiz today with the names of the crop circles, but when I woke up, I was seeing things, and what I was seeing I'd never seen in my life. And my eyes, I kept like blinking and rubbing my eyes, and I kept seeing these moving things all through the sky. And I realized later it was plasma. And it was the first time I'd seen it, but my vision had completely shifted by laying in a crop circle and passing out, I would call it, and waking up with a different level of vision. So for all the years
Cool.
I was speaking across Canada and America, at all my events, I would take everybody outside after seeing my movie, and I'd say, okay, relax your eyes, look away from the sun, da da da, go into a stare, and 80% of the audience would see what's going on in the sky because there's so much we don't see. And I
Yeah.
don't mean aliens or UFOs, because I don't know if I believe that. But I do know that we have energy and plasma. And when you see these balls of light, a lot of people are like, oh, that's fake or digital glitch or whatever. It's like, well, you guys are useless. What we're seeing right here in this very, very important footage from Oliver's Castle, very simple crop circle was created after those balls of light moved through the field, went slowly in a circle, and then the crop circle happened in seconds. And when I was making the movies and being in the crop circles a lot, I was awakened at 3:30 every morning, 3 o'clock a.m., and I never had an opportunity to go back to sleep. I was always given a lot of information, and I was like, oh, come on, I'm really tired. And I'd wake up and I'd have written all this stuff. And this particular footage was a gift that was given to me from one of the people that got access to it. And it was Bear Cloud. And, yeah, well, Bear Cloud, this is the confession of the guy this guy that said to the public, oh, Patty Greer's footage is fake. I won't say his name, but it'll probably show. Oops, there it showed.
Oh, this guy said your stuff was fake?
Yeah, everybody, all the men in ufology at these big events when I was winning awards and showing my films and having speaking events that packed the rooms, they were like, "Oh, her glitch footage, fake, fake." But Bear Cloud had hired the same guy, this guy, which I won't name, but you can read it, uh, for $3,000 to look at his footage of a crop circle. Oh, wait, same one I was talking about in the movie, Oliver's Castle. And he admitted very clearly to a Native American elder, fabulous man, Bear Cloud, who's in a couple of my movies, that, oh, yeah, the crop circle's very real and that they were counter rotating and we don't know how. Well, I took it much further than him because in my final film, I was gifted Penny Kelly, who took me to the lab where they figured out with magnets and all. Yep, he's talking about it. Kidding, but he basically dispelled everything he said about my work and all the boys of the UFO field. And they might have been bad actors back then. I don't know, which means paid by, alphabet soup. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know that they weren't very nice to me. And I was like, do you guys just not like girls? Like what? I don't know. I
Very
kept
possible.
winning film awards, and I would think they'd want to be my friend, but it was a very competitive field. And the people that I wanted to listen to were the real researchers, the four-star generals, the astronauts, God forbid, that may or
Mm.
may not have gone to the moon. We don't really know because we don't know what's true anymore. But this particular footage, yes, I was right. And I played it in the movie, but all of a sudden, when I was editing with this young man, okay, this is so interesting. And boom, the crop circle happens in seconds.
And how do you fake that? What year was that, Patty? Was that like 2007?
1996.
1990? Yeah, so it's very
Oliver's
difficult to fake
Castle.
something like that on a handheld, whatever kind of handheld, like, that'd be very
Right.
difficult to fake. And you see it happen right in front of you. I mean,
Yeah. And there's the Oliver's Castle crop circle. So a bunch of guys were, there
this
he's
guy.
telling Bear
I'll
Cloud
get
the
him off the
truth.
screen. Get him off
I'm
the screen.
sorry. It was a chapter where in the crop circles I was in heaven. But this particular place you're going to with that footage right there was where I was working with my editor, my very first movie. I knew nothing about what I was doing, but I did know that I was having a lot of intuitive information brought to me. And I was completely open because I was so amazed. I'd been in all these crop circles. And I'm like, wow, how could people not be talking about this? Look at the hair on my arms. And of course, I'm a girl, teeny hairs, but they were all standing up. And you know what that feels like when your blood rushes through your body and all of a sudden you just go, whoa, your whole body.
Oh yeah.
That's what it feels like when you walk even into the 10 foot away from the formation. I'm like, oh, we're close. And again, I turn around with my eyebrow up and, to the people behind me, there'd usually be one or two, and we'd all just nod silently and then keep walking. And there it is, this incredible crop circle. But this particular piece of footage that you're holding here, don't move it, is, in my opinion, something that nobody else understood except Penny Kelly, who was working with the real scientist who explored the reality of crop circles and crop circle nodes, how they bend, what happens to the wheat, if they're real or if they're broken. If they're broken, it's boards and ropes and people. But if the turning of the wheat is not broken, then it's probably a real crop circle. So here we are. I'm looking at this footage and I said to the editor, reverse this footage. And he said, why? And I said, I don't know, just do it. And he reversed it and I said, slow it down. And he just looked at me and I said, I don't know, just do it. And he goes, well, how slow? And I said, I don't know, 30%. And then we both looked at each other and I said, I'm not sure where that came out of, but I think it was my pie hole. And just do it. I just kept saying, just do it, just do it. So I said, reverse it, slow it down 30%. And then I screamed, stop. And again, this is nothing. I knew what I was doing. I was completely green. And I said, this is a communication between those two balls of light that we're going over the crop circle. It's a binary code. And then I kept going because I was spewing right out of my mouth what I was being shown. And this particular moment here, in my opinion, still today, and Penny's opinion in a heartbeat when she looked at it like me, she said, wow, where'd you get that footage of a plasma communication between two balls of light? What? Binary code communication. And I was like, I knew it. What are they saying, Penny? And she goes, well, what do you think they're saying? And I said, I think lefty told righty, you do this, I'll do that, and we'll lay the crop circle down. She said, you nailed it. Boom,
Hmm.
crop circle goes down in seconds. So really interesting that that gentleman that you showed that was paid to tell the truth, they all call this a glitch. I call it, wow, no, the way I found it, that was no glitch, baby. That was me amazing this poor young 26-year-old editor I found online, and I didn't know what I was doing except that I'd filmed a ton of crop circles in 2007 while I was there exploring them with a movie camera. And that's why my movies kept winning awards because they were not scripted. They
Mm.
were not anything proper. They were a lost girl in farm fields with a big movie camera. And I bought a professional backpack case, but I didn't realize, oh, wait, I have to carry it. I'm not strong enough. So I've got this, 20-pound tripod, because I needed heavy duty. So now I'm dragging a movie camera and a tripod on a dolly through crop fields.
Oh
Like I
wow.
was really probably a funny looking crop circle filmmaker until I had a man with me who, stuck it on his back like the pros do. But then I get to the flying field where, they said, well, if you want to fly over and see the crop circles from the air, you'll get much better photos. And I was like, well, how high do they go? Oh, 3,000 feet. Oh, I can do that. So I get there and the pilot, it's my turn. Yay, the American with all the cameras hanging around her neck. And I'm so new at this. I had, so it goes door on or door off. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, your side. Going, what do you mean? Well, the professionals don't want a door on their side so they can lean out and take photos and film. And I was like, oh,
I'll take the door on.
no, I took the door off.
Oof, but they have you like strapped in, right? Like obviously they're not just gonna
Um,
let you sit by the door, I hope.
I said, where's the harness? He said, no, it's just the belt. Like literally a car seat belt.
Oh no.
That was it. That was it. Okay. So now I had two different pilots. One was really a great pilot because he knew that if you bank it and do just the right speed, it kind of holds you back in your seat so you can lean out and film. And he banks the plane so, you'd fall out the door if you were stupid. It's banked. And so, I don't even need to lean because he's so that was the great pilot. The other one really liked to scare me. And yeah. So I learned, but again, I was the newbie and I was strangely fearless because I was so amazed by what I was seeing and feeling. And the people are real druid there. They have spider webs all over their houses because those are their pets. Like,
Really?
yeah, it's not about vacuuming them or their car, you know,
Wow.
and their gardens show it just beautiful. Here, of course, we all live on cement with clean cars, and I don't have spider webs in my house. Actually, I saw one today in my bathroom I need to get.
Ah, spiders. But and you would think if something like this was a glitch, right? Like, all right, it was some sort of artifact in the video. It's like, well, then why did it stop at the orbs and why did it not continue on to the whole screen? So I thought that was interesting. And then the other part, well, there's many parts that I found very interesting, but where was the other one? The blue orb at 10:14 that you saw on the TV that was, or a monitor that was not on?
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't in the movie. This is what made me and my editor stop cold. I thought I had finished Crop Circle. God, the first film was called The Wake Up Call. Anybody listening? Question mark. That was in 2007. And that's the one that put me on the map. And so we had finished the movie, me and this young editor, like I said, that I found online. And it was just beautiful. All my music, original music, and the crop circles are just gorgeous. And the inundating drive to the farm fields, just beautiful. And the thousand hut houses, just beautiful. So the whole movie's done. I'm like, wow, that was a lovely story. And we're walking out on the deck to take a break, and then we're going to come back in and do a final watch before I send it off to whoever makes it into a DVD. So we're walking out, and I looked over my shoulder and I see this blue orb that you're looking at right on the monitor. And I said, Johnny, what's the blue orb on the monitor? And it's so weird. I can recognize orbs now. Like I've seen that one before, or haven't seen that orb, but they're like faces. So I'm looking real close at this orb, and I said, that orb is not in the movie. Where'd you find that? And he said, I didn't find anything. And so he looks behind the monitor and he goes, Patty, the monitor's unplugged from the wall.
Oh, jeez. Oh my.
He told me to shut everything down. And I did. And I'm like, no, there's got to be something plugged in. There's the blue orbs on the monitor. And he goes around back and he holds them up, he goes, no, it's unplugged.
Wow.
So
That's
now
nuts.
we're both, I think I scared him in that moment. And that's when I said, we're not done. Come on back in. Show me that footage again of the two balls of light laying the crop circle down. This is how it happened. Thank you for pulling that up because I forgot what it was that made me just stop and go, Johnny, we're not done yet. This movie is not done. And it was that blue orb right there that you will not find in the film. So I don't know where it came from, but I had so much magic in my life when I was making these movies. And the 3:30 a.m. wake up call to write the scripts of things I didn't know. And then I'd wake up and go, oh, that's my handwriting.
Oh
Like
wow.
what? Yeah, it
Like
was,
automatic writing, kind of like you were
yeah,
channeling almost, or somebody was channeling through you. That's interesting. And so, I think too, you were talking about a little earlier, and I was going to maybe bring it up, but you're talking about things that we see, or even orbs, right? Like I believe, if I'm just going off of memory, but I believe that scientists say that we see only 0.5% of what's in the visible light spectrum, that our eyes can only pick up what's in zero point 0.5. So not even, it's a half a percent of everything that's out there. So then you wonder, what if you could see everything that was out there? What would we be seeing, right? And so I contend we would be seeing more things like this. More people would see orbs, and things like that. I mean, I've seen my fair share of weird things like that as well, and had been creeped out about eerie noises and walks through cemeteries and stuff like that. But certainly, you can definitely know that there's a lot more out there than what we can see. Our eyes are just not built to see it. And so I thought it was interesting too, the meeting between you and Dr. Lefty. How he set up everything in your meeting there. But the key part of that story was he was already passed away at that point, right?
yeah. He brought Penny and I together. Was it 1 or 2 years after he died? Maybe 1 year. And I was brought to meet her. I didn't know why. And then we sat there for 4 hours talking with this man that took me to meet her. And I had to do a talk in the morning with this audience that I was out of town to speak for. And it wasn't until I left where I said, well, I brought you a movie. I don't know why. I do crop circle movies. And she goes, I know. And I was like, oh, well, we didn't talk about crop circles. And she says, here's one of my books. And I look on the cover and I was like, William Levengood and Penny Kelly. Wait, what? And she goes, yeah, I wrote the book and William Levengood, we did it together about crop circles. And I'm spinning through the pages. There's all this data. And I'm like, I've been here 4 hours and I didn't know. And it turns out, yeah, I was there 4 hours and I didn't know. So she said, well, I'm doing a wake in a month for Lefty, William Levengood. And why don't you come back and spend some time and you can stay here at the farm, where they did a lot of growing experiments. And I was all over it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll be back. Thank you. So a month later, I came back and stayed with her for 3 days. It turned into 2 weeks, and we made the final film, Crop Circle Diaries, together. Penny was an integral part. She's absolutely brilliant. She's written 20 plus books on spirituality and higher frequencies and aliens and ETs. She believes that she's had a lot of experiences with them, whereas I don't consider it ET. I consider it Earth energy because of my experiences. I feel like it's all earth energy that I've been dancing in. But she had a different experience. So I'm open to everybody, with their belief systems. And I feel really lucky I got to make these movies. If people love orbs, I made another movie called Orbs and Light Beings. You got to see that one. I don't know
Hmm.
if you've seen it already. It's the best orb photos I've ever seen. And again, while I was making these films, I must have been putting out a frequency that was a magnet because this lady in Australia wrote me and said, I love your movies. I take pictures of orbs on my property and I'd like to send you some. And I had so many emails like that. I was like, oh, another one. Sure, love to see
Hmm.
them. And she sent me these drop dead, like the one that you showed a little while ago, the big orange tube, and she's out there with her arms up, and there's huge orbs behind her and all around her. So, orbs and light beings is breathtaking orbs.
That's
I've never
cool.
seen anything like it. But I couldn't take photos with my camera without every photo being filled with orbs when I was doing this work.
You're like,
They
you're
were
making this difficult on me, the guys.
Yeah, I couldn't not film other dimensionals while I was doing this. So, I mean, for example, my house, I brought home these wonderful, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a bent node.
Yeah, you can see it right there. Yep, right at the very
Yeah.
top. Yep.
So, I would grab the node, the bent places out of the crop circles because I found it really pretty fun. And I'd eat. And it's before we knew they were spraying whatever they're spraying.
Oh God.
Crops. Oh, okay. So anyway, I have them all over the house, and these very strange EBE awards, which are aliens
Oh,
with a
nice.
movie camera on their shoulder, the big heavy guys.
That's
Um,
cool, huh?
but yeah, I won five of these for my films, and still they're going, "That's a glitch. She's fake," you know. And meanwhile, I'm going, "Where'd you take your acting class, idiot?"
That's hilarious. And so I went a little forward here. I think I had another one at 3330 that shows um, some of the differences between not orbs, the crops that were inside of the crop circle, I believe, are the ones down the bottom versus the ones that were on the outside or outside of the crop circle. What does it say here? Yeah. Control number 2. But these are supposed to be outside, I believe. These are outer edge number 5. These are control, and they were much bigger. And if I go a little further, I guess they show you, I think, some zucchinis here at the. I may have just passed it as well, but basically
The
some
crop
zucchinis.
circle seeds are growing 30 to 400% more food on every plant. 30 to 400% more food and biofuel per plant, with
Wow.
almost twice the nutritional value. Crop circle technology is extremely valuable. It's why they dinked with my films. It's why they hacked the crap out of me. It's why I was threatened repeatedly, uh, and my movies, I just kept making them until I stopped. And once I got wounded, I stopped. But this thing here, these seeds, what's interesting is there's a healthy seed on the left and there's a shriveled seed on the right. And the shriveled seeds were the shockers. The shriveled seeds were found in an envelope in the back corner of William Levengood's desk. And that's the scientist that was doing all the research on crop circle wheat nodes, stems, plants, seeds, the growth capacity and potential of healthier food. They were experimenting on all of it. And then in the back, he was cleaning out his desk, which is pretty rare. And he found this envelope with these old seeds, like months old, and he'd forgotten about them. And they were from a crop circle in England. And so I think England, I'm not positive, but there were these shriveled seeds in the envelope. And he said, "Oh, no proper seedsman," these are his words, "no proper seedsman would use these seeds." And he started to throw them out. But that little voice, that same one that would come into my head when I was writing the scripts in the middle of the night, not scripts, but data, he said, "Don't throw them away." And so he pulled his body back and he goes, "Okay." And he looks at him again. He goes, "Oh no, they're shriveled. Yeah." And he goes to throw them away again, and his body just stopped him. So he said, "Oh, okay." So he put it in the germination tank and soaked them up probably with the other seeds. And so there was the control group of normal crop circle seeds from that particular crop and the shriveled ones. He had everything like labeled, as you can see. So the shriveled ones were the ones that exploded. And he
Wow.
realized, oh my gosh, they fought for their life in that dark envelope, in that dry envelope for months. Those little teeny ball of life seeds had to fight so hard to stay alive that they were super seeds. And when he watered them and put them in a germination tank, they exploded up to 400%. And he realized, oh my God. So we have to starve the seeds, put them in the dark, don't give them any water for months until they become, super seeds. And then you
Wow.
soak them up and they make mondo food with almost twice, 75% more nutrition per plant. That's massive. So we have the opportunity now to take this crop circle technology and, shall we say, remake the food supply across the world with spinning vortices of plasma. And crop circles Some are made by Boards and Ropes and a bunch of people for the BBC or Ancient Aliens or whatever, the actors that do the movies, that's what
Fake
they'll use,
stuff.
fake stuff.
Yeah.
But when we're dealing with the real thing, we get really great benefits. And that's why they say a lot of people heal in a crop circle. A lot of people's batteries die when they go in a crop circle. My cameras never died.
Huh.
I never had one issue. My cameras were on fire in the crop circles. And
Interesting, huh?
yeah, yeah. And when you were talking about Stephen Greer holding up those two compasses, the punchline of those two compasses was that one was pointing north in one direction and the other was pointing north in the opposite direction. So you've got north, basically, you've got spinning plasma vortices of, see, you're going
I know.
through a
I'm scrolling
Oh,
past.
that's so, I mean, what you're doing is you're showing Crop Circle Diaries, my final film. And if
Yeah.
your audience wants to learn about the truth of crop circles, it's cropcirclefilms.com. Crop Circle Films with an S.com. And you can see I've got 8 movies, a few soundtracks. The Crop Circle Diaries, my final film, is really a great explanation. And in it, we showed that William Levengood and Penny Kelly created a machine that would do the same
Hmm.
as real crop circle seeds. So they realized that it was charge density plasma, whatever that means, set at 30 degrees, whatever that is. And in the movie, you have to find it, is a photo of this charge density CDP machine, charge density plasma, which is the reverse technology of how they lay crop circles down in seconds is with spinning plasma coming out of the earth in counter rotating vortices of spinning plasma, like I said. And when we see balls of light making a crop circle, the ball of light is literally the base of a spinning vortex of plasma. And a vortex is like a V, like a tornado of plasma. So you've got two plasma vortices coming out of the earth, spinning in opposite directions, counter rotating. And when they hit the exact frequency of the message they are going to deliver, be it sacred geometry or a binary code with a written message or a hummingbird or whatever the message is of that crop circle, your plasma spinning vortices are going to spin, spin, spin till they get to the exact frequency. And then, boom, they send the binary code through the air to each other. I'll do this. You do that. And again, I'm only speaking from what I believe I know, from what I've seen. But that crop circle lays down in seconds. And it's because these two balls of light somehow communicated that message and sent enough plasma spinning frequencies into the earth in that location that all of a sudden, boom, they slowly leave the field, which you'll see a couple of these events in my films. And there's your pattern.
That is crazy. And I'm dropping the link over here on cropcirclefilms.com over here on the Rumble. Let me get it out to the other places we're on. The only thing about me streaming to multiple different platforms is a lot of them aren't considered like mainstream, so they don't report back and forth. So I can't put one comment out to say, on my platform here, which will bring it out to all the different platforms. So the only one it will send out to is like YouTube and Rumble. Which, Patty, here we are. What is it? 14 days past my 5-year anniversary of me being removed off of YouTube. And wouldn't you know, somehow, in some way, shape, or form, we are on my original channel on YouTube right now. I got it back exactly 5 years to the day. I mean, that's not
Wow.
something really, like, really weird, right? Just the fact that I got it back was weird. But then on exactly the same day, I'm like, I don't know, something's up about that. But I want to show you something really quick. This is, I think, a less than 2-minute video, but we're just going to show you the beginning of it. But this is what I believe, and maybe you can give us some input on it. But so here's an old video or whatever. This is what they're calling electroculture rocks. And so I don't know, if anybody's ever tried this stuff. Essentially, I know my buddy Clagster out in California said he's going to try in his next go round. But essentially, what these people are doing is, and I'm keeping the sound off. is they're basically putting like bamboo rods and then wrapping copper around the bamboo and pulling in the energy. So I liken that to, you see the huge crops that she has here. It's like she's like, I've never done this before, and like look at that thing. And so what I'm likening that to is the what we showed here, which is they're way bigger, right? Like they get much bigger, and so for whatever reason, I believe the energy that's coming out of, the ground or the earth that's interacting with these crops is what's giving them their boost. I don't know if that makes
Yes.
sense, my little rant there, but
Oh, you're right. And what you're doing with copper is you're also sticking the copper rod into the earth. You're
mm,
grounding. So it's earth energy. Hello, music lovers. That was a great correlation. Thank you.
oh no, that's great. And we have a couple different things here, which I think in earlier there's a nice little clip. This one I thought was interesting about the mouths of
God, who
the
knew?
yeah, and so it talks about, she talks about in the morning how when the dew comes out on the leaves of grass, I guess. Is it the leaves or is it the wheat? Yeah, so it is the leaves of grass. And so how she says that they open up their mouths essentially, right? And so have you ever seen grass through a scanning electron microscope? It's
Yes.
it's actually crazy. So for anybody that hasn't seen it, I'm just going to pop up a picture um, through electro, and I haven't even planned on doing this, but this is just the electroscope.
Okay, but on this photo here, Penny said something that blew my mind. Do you know what makes them open their mouth? Is the early morning chirp of birds.
Yes, yes, yes. I found that fascinating, right?
The early morning chirp of birds makes all these real plants open up their little mouths to gather the morning dew. And then when the sun comes up and the birds quit chirping, the mouths close and feed the plant.
I wonder if it's the vibe. It must be just a vibration, right? You think, or do you think it's
Frequency.
the frequency of it? Yeah.
Everything is energy, everything is frequency. Energy in motion is emotion. So you've got all this energy running out of all humans everywhere, all wildlife, all plants. And what is that energy? It's hello, plasma. Plasma is constantly moving, constantly creating. And as I'm thinking about someone and I'm sending out my thoughts to them, oh my God, I love them. And they call on the phone and go, I was just feeling you or thinking about you. And it's like, wow, that was quick. So that is plasma and our thoughts creating reality. So it's why we've been told forever, watch your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions create your reality. So yeah, Penny just kept teaching me in this movie. And once I was done, I realized that I had been working with the guy that died a year ago. Like he chose me to yank and pull me over to Penny's house till 2 in the morning. And then the big joke, what do you mean you're Penny Kelly? What do you mean you wrote? And then so when I came back, we were inseparable. And I hired a film crew in Michigan because that's where she was, so that I could just be in the moment with her. And my jaw, like things like this, the birds chirping opens the mouths of the plant leaves. It's like, how do you
Crazy.
know this? But her whole thing was plants and soil with William Levengood. So what I feel right now is that the movies that I did were so dang truthful and kind of ahead of their time, because we've been shown to hide reality
Yes.
until this last year that we had a human actually become president rather than a demon. And America has
Yes.
had 12 years of demon. And really dark stuff was going on. And there's the conspiracy theorists your channel was taken down. I spoke to 4 other people this week who just got their channels back. I, on the other hand, am dealing with new scum, and I don't mean the governor. I mean
Oh,
scum, like somebody attacked my C60 Evo website. We got that fixed. But
really?
they hacked my Truth Social. I finally got that back, but they hacked my ex, and I haven't been able to get that back. And
Wow.
the name that they gave it was Doreen. at
Hmm.
C60EVO.com now owns my ex. But wait a minute, she got me suspended because she probably went, nee, 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 nee,
Well,
or she showed her tits. I don't know. But
well, I think that's allowed actually. I mean, there's literally, I hate to say it, but there's literally porn on X nowadays, like legitimate porn.
well,
Like, yeah, it's
I
bad.
wish I could say something legitimate about hackers, but they are nothing but scum.
Yeah,
And I am dealing with it almost feels like when I was in the UFO field because my movies were over the target.
that's when you
And
get the most resistance. Yeah.
when I hear people whining about I lost my channel, I lost this and this, I'm like, you guys are beginners. I think, the test case for taking down ufology. And I don't need pity and I'm not a victim, but I tolerated stuff no human should tolerate for making these movies. And this movie with the charge density plasma machine image, which I saw you go past a couple times, it's
Yeah.
so good. It's so simple, but every time I'm on a show, I go, for $5, stream the dang movie, Crop Circle Diaries, at cropcirclefilms.com. Just stream Crop Circle Diaries and you will find the machine. And if you've got any sense of electronics, people could be making these machines, charging up their seeds, and multiplying the benefit of organic seeds. We can bring the food supply back. And I believe that this is why I don't know how they knew in 2013 that I was going to be the one that William Levengood would have to deliver all this data. But they started hacking me in 2013, and it was relentless and ruthless. I wrote all the music for my films, other than a couple songs I bought from someone, the rights to use from my movies. And I had 5 copyright claims on YouTube for
Oh
my own
boy.
original music.
Oh,
And I was just like, you guys are so beyond. But I was dealing with Alphabet apparently and didn't know it. And there I'm telling you, I was so green that I thought I'm just going in crop circles like an innocent person being amazed I'm eating the wheat in the middle until we saw them dump pink powder on a new crop circle on 8808. We were
oh
there and it
wow.
was this big sacred thing and they invited all the crop circle researchers to Coronation Hall. So we all went over there, to this place, and they had all the researchers meet, and they had a helicopter fly over, and somebody filmed them dumping pink toxic powder,
Oh
and they
great.
wanted all of us don't eat the wheat. So I kind of lived through I hate to say it, but the infiltration of wonderful crop circling.
Oh
And
yeah.
they called me the crappie girl because I was from America. I was relentless. I would go in crop circles at night. Nobody does that. You got to be out of your mind. I was like, oh God, this is so amazing. And the one night, and you saw it in the movie that I went with Monique Klickenberg from Belgium, from Holland. Uh, I said, "Oh, look, a shortcut. It's almost sunset. Let's go." And she goes, "Oh, Patty, I don't go in shortcuts in people's crops." And I was like, "See you in the middle."
Oh
So
wow.
I headed in my little short lace skirt and my little sleeveless top that had a big crop circle on it, sandals, thongs, and thongs, sandals. And um, I walked through and then I got to the middle and I was like, oh my God, it's twilight. It's so beautiful. Put my arms out and I started turning slowly, looking at the moon coming up. And all of a sudden I looked down at my black skirt and it was covered in these big white cotton balls. And my
Yeah.
darn shirt with a crop circle pattern had all these big white balls on it. And I'm looking down like, what is that? And one of them started coming toward my face. And I realized,
God.
oh no. Oh no, no, no. They're alive. And there's a lot of them. And I'm covered with them. Holy crap. No wonder Monique said, don't go down the shortcut. Yeah,
Oh no.
I walked right through. They were the size of tarantulas. They were all white. And in the moonlight, dusk, twilight, whatever it was, I could see them very, very bright on my clothing. And there must have been 50. And I remember saying strangely calm, because normally I would scream, run, and die somewhere, let them eat me. And instead, I very slowly took my skirt off and
God.
I watched them move very quickly off the skirt and into the wheat. And I was like, okay. Except I had a really tight thing to get over my head, which really, was not good. And so I very carefully got my arms out the sleeves and I got it over my head and threw it. And there I am standing there, in my little skivvies, not much.
Naked.
And Monique's like, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'll tell you in a minute."
Let me get my shirt and my pants back on.
Yeah. So I gave them a good shake, but I mean, they ran back to the woods because they didn't really like lace when they could eat wheat. So that was a moment. And I remembered going, how did I stay so calm? Why were they so big? What? Obviously, I walked through a web and then I looked it up online. What are the tarantula sized white things in England? They were nowhere. I couldn't find a darn thing about giant white spiders. And when I reported it to Penny Kelly, she just looked right at me and she goes, "Patty, maybe they weren't spiders."
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe there was something else, watching over
I
you
don't
or
know.
something. Ooh.
Maybe I had an overdose moment where I was just like, hey, fam, you know,
Well,
I
that's the
don't
thing.
know.
I was and this will kind of maybe get us into the woo for a second. So I just want to show this for a second because she was talking about Penny was talking about the faces opening and closing. So I'm just going to show this really quick. And this is so people like, well, no, this is fake. This is real. So this guy says, this is real, but they're not actually faces. What you're looking at are vascular bundles that provide water and nutrients to the plant. You can look, I don't, you could tell me whatever you want. I'm telling you that looks like an emoji of a smiley face. And not only that, but every one of them, let me see if I can get it a little bit bigger on the screen. Every one of them, to me, seems to have a little thing on their forehead, right? The little
Third eye.
yeah, the third eye spot on them. So yeah, you can tell me they're bundles of that, of whatever, but they legitimately look like smiley faces, like with the third eyes going. So, we know that things are alive, right? We know plants are alive and stuff, but we don't think of it to that extent, how alive they are. But what do you think the main? And I know we talked about this to an extent. Like, what do you think the main? Do you think there was a main message that some of these crop circles wanted to get out, or do you think there were various different messages that they wanted to get out? Because I have another video that I'll pull up and I'll play it because your stuff has great stuff. You got like a couple hour videos and whatnot, but this guy put in a video here that I'm gonna let it play on quiet if I can find the damn thing. And basically what it is it shows you a bunch of different crop circles, but what he believes that they were. So before I get to that stuff, like, do you believe there were many different messages they were trying to give out, or do you think they were trying to harp on one specific thing?
Well, overall, it was about our evolution. Overall, there were many warnings. There was much data given, much information. There were so many different types of patterns that you had to kind of go through them to get the messages. But I think the messages were from A to Z, kind of like communicating. And when you think of a crop circle, they appear in sacred geometry, which is a pattern that's got a dot in the middle and then it's mirrored out from all directions. So that's called sacred geometry
Oh yeah.
or mandala. And some of them are very ornate. But again, the left reflects the right. So they're a picture pattern. What I did in my movies, after meeting a guy from Holland who was taking the print of that crop circle and spinning it, all of a sudden it changes form. And when you spin a sacred geometry crop circle, to me, I think it looks like a propeller. So
Oh
what
yeah.
I felt like I was seeing when we spun all these crop circles, which I think is one of the greatest things I did in my movies, was to show these spinning crop circles. All of a sudden, it's a different image. And I think that they were basically schematics for pre-energy devices,
Yes.
spacecraft devices, but you have to spin them to see the magic of the propulsion. There were birds, fish, insects. In 2009, all it was birds, fish, insects, hardly any codes, which is like binary or whatever. But yeah, geometric, the binary codes were very specific and they were dissected as English messages where you could, say the words, and there were really powerful messages. But the birds, fish, bugs were right before the next spring. There was the BP oil spill that killed millions of birds, fish.
Oh yeah.
So I felt like that was direct information and a warning. And in 2002, you had the alien face and the disc with all the binary code information, which I think is
Yes.
the most important message of all time. Beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. Much pain, but still time. Believe there is good out there. We oppose deception.
Oh
Content
yes.
closing. Okay, so that was right after 9/11. Hello.
Why do I
Like,
remember that? So it's as you're saying it, like I'm like having a flashback to like
oh yeah,
remembering somebody reading those words. Somebody decoded that in some way, shape, or form, right? Let me if I can
it
pull
was
up a
the
picture.
alien face and the disc crop circle, and it's in all my movies. Yeah, it's a
This
big
one right
one.
here.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what the disc said.
and you would
Right
have to
after
be
9/11.
was it? Yeah, and you'd have to be, crazy to think that you could fake something like that because it just I mean the overlap would be incredible just to, like how you could leave all these little dots. And so let me show you this because I think what you're talking about a lot is in here, and I've muted it just because there's probably music and stuff like that, and this guy's talking about. But this video is 2 minutes, but it shows you many different crop circles, but also, and I'll send this to you. I'm sure you'd love to have this one if you haven't already seen it. But what it shows you is how they, excuse me, is how they do exactly what you're saying, which is they take up the images and they put them into 2D, 3D, 4D essentially. So let's take a look at some of them. So I don't know if this is an actual. Have you seen that one right there
Fake.
before?
It's
That's
fake.
fake, right? Yeah, guys. And how difficult is it nowadays too, Patty? I mean, with AI and stuff. So you may have been ahead of your curve, but I think at the same time, yeah,
That's this crop circle.
that's it. Yeah, and I actually gave Bree, who made the thumbnail for the video, I said I gave her that picture or an image of that same crop circle, and the other one that we ended up
Really?
going with. I said that was on her book, and I said the other one was in her video. I said, but so yeah, basically, this guy is showing you in different 3D and four dimensional things. So, like you were just mentioning before I pulled it, which is what made me pull this up, is that yes, they're not just flat, 2D drawings essentially. That like you take them up into three dimensional, and you can start to see that the information that they're putting out there, like this is a vortex or a
Fabulous one.
right, and so that's basically if I'm
Looks like
getting
a
it.
free energy coil.
Yeah, and so that's kind of like what you guys were saying, like the vortex does that thing, right? But then this is also the free energy thing, and it actually even gets a little deeper than that because he starts going into like, oh wait, they were trying to show us in a couple different ways, right?
Yeah. Oh, I like him. Except that first one was fake AI. Um,
Makes it so difficult.
Back to the one that was on the cover of my movie.
Yeah, let's go to the
I want to tell you about that because it's not fake at all. It's 409 circles laid in Fibonacci sequence spiral. And a Fibonacci sequence is flawless mathematics. It's
yes.
not easy to do. So 409 circles. Here, I can show it right here. It's this one.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that one. Okay, that one, not the alien one. Okay, the circle in top of circles. What's that
Yeah.
one called?
It's called 409 circles in every time I've related to it. 409 circles. You got to delete the rest.
There we
Oh, there
go.
it is. Yeah, I'm the one that named it. My friend Charles, who ran the research center, walked the entire formation of the 409 circles
Wow.
and, at 5:30 in the morning, and it was huge, absolutely huge. It rained all night. He said it was really hard lifting his wellies, his big rubber boots, and every step was like, it was really hard. But he walked the entire perimeter. He said, Patty, there wasn't a boot site in sight. There was no footprints on that circle, and it happened overnight. So a Fibonacci sequence is flawless mathematics, where the size of the ball is mathematically half the size or a fraction of the size, and then they go, as you can see, smaller on both ends. But this was a whole spinning vortex of Fibonacci sequences. Each one is sequence, each arm of the octopus, I'll call it. So this was 409 flawless, measured Fibonacci sequence circles. And when you walk into it, you see the first circle you're in and you think, oh, isn't this beautiful? Oh, look at that. Oh, there's another circle over there. And you have no idea there's 400 of them. I mean,
Wow.
it's so phenomenal to be on the ground. But this is one of my favorites, and it's the one I chose for the cover of my first movie, The Wake Up Call. Anybody listening? You know, you can't deny it wasn't there yesterday. There's no amount of people that could make that and make it mathematically flawless, and it would still look like that on the morning after it rained all night.
Hate this. I hate when you click on a video and then it clicks you to a different picture. But so and this is kind of an off the cup question, but is I know these are like basically tractor lines right here. And you know the distance between each one of these, just to kind of give everybody an idea of how this is huge. I mean, this thing is
Yeah.
ginormous. But I mean, these are what, 20 feet across or something like that, at least maybe.
I don't think they were that far apart. It's the lines of a tractor. So, um, oh yeah, but I see two tracks. It seemed to me that each tram line is the tires.
Yes.
So I think when you see two of them, that's a tractor, a big fat tractor. Unless it's the two little tracks, again, I think this one may have been acres. And
Huge.
the fact that it happened overnight and it was flawless mathematically from the air and on the ground. I mean, there were guys measuring all over the place. But once you get sloppy researchers in, it's hard to tell after hundreds of people have been in the formation if the weed is broken or bent. But then when you dig through the crop itself, you'll find great bent nodes. And that's the difference between real and fake.
Oh
And I
yeah.
show lots of examples in my movies, but they're so not fake. Crop circles are so not fake. And I think there's still people making really stupid movies out there trying to, dissolve mine. And I just gave up. I just didn't bother once the field was infiltrated and there was nobody nice anymore at the events. I
Uh,
just quit.
happens with
And
everything too, it seems lately.
yeah, yeah. But okay, stop.
Yep, that's what I was looking for.
Right there. That's Stephen's hand, fingers, holding north to opposite directions in the middle of that formation.
Yeah, you got red going up right there, and then red coming down here.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
North,
totally
north,
normal.
totally normal. And then if you move a teeny bit more footage, you'll see the sketch from William Levengood um, of the spinning vortices that he
Oh,
described.
right there.
There,
Right
that
there.
sketch.
Bing.
Yeah.
Oh, God, come on. Come back. I wish they had a back 10 seconds and plus 10 seconds. They're kind of.
Well, people are just going to have to go see the movie, you know? I
There it
mean,
is. Ah,
yeah.
come on, Mike. Almost had it. There it is. It's forward.
Ah!
It's
Okay.
forward. It's forward a second. We'll get to it in a second. But it's crazy the polarity difference. And you make a good point to talk about the bends versus the breaks, because not only that, but they have these like little bulbs in the bends, right? And a lot of them are like what, 90 degrees, I think they are.
Yeah. They're called nodes, and some of them are blown nodes, which means they're dark because they were charred by um, the heat. The heat actually blew the nodes to change the form of the stalk of crop. So the fact that 10,000 of them can bend to the right at a 90-degree angle at the same moment, they couldn't find any way to recreate that. They tried bringing big microwave throwers into the fields, and they had the cameras and the crew, and they couldn't recreate it. And then they blamed it all on Doug and Dave. While it's spinning, there you go. This is the sketch from the
Jesus.
lab. It's all right. They got it. It's just counter rotating vortices. You've got spinning in opposite directions, and here you are in the middle where north is opposite directions.
Nailed it. Nailed it finally after 2 hours. But yeah, I mean, that's not, I mean, it's so far from normal that, yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever. I've always just found them not only, that they're amazing, but they're, beautiful on top of, like you say, being energetic inside there and also trying to leave us a message, it seems. And it seems the message, that's why I was asking you first, but I was going to give you my opinion, which is I was kind of under my breath saying yes as you were saying it, but I believe that they were trying to lead us towards like a free energy. And
Yes.
there's not too many more, if you think about influential um, sects or organizations or whatever you want to say out there. Like I would say big pharma is somebody you don't want to mess with. Big oil, big energy, people you don't want to mess with, right? So those people may have wanted you to not really be putting those messages out because, the whole oh geez, what's the word I'm looking for? The oil business, obviously. But oil or petroleum, petroleum based medicine, petroleum based energy, oil and stuff like that. We've been on this stuff for how long? And we know Nikola Tesla had over 100+ years ago had powered, 5 miles away light bulbs. Was it 5 miles? 50 light bulbs 5 miles away without wires. And here we are in 2025, 110 years later or something like that. I'm still plugging my phone into the wall, Patty. And I feel like we shouldn't be doing this stuff anymore. And I feel like that may be one of the main reasons that, or maybe one of the main topics of what they were trying to give to us is like, hey, you keep using this dirty stuff, electricity and oil and stuff, but you don't need to. What do you think? Am I on the right path there?
So you're nailing it, and you're reminding me of one of my other movies, which was I went to the free energy event in Boulder, Colorado, and that movie is called The Shift Has Hit the Fan.
I love it.
So my film, The Shift Has Hit the Fan, introduced some people that are very well known now, Sasha Stone
Oh yeah.
and Dr. David Martin.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of guys were at this event with their free energy machines that they made out of parts from a junkyard and a thrift store, and they were creating 3D um, recreations of what do you call it, a 3D printer.
Oh yeah.
So there were all these advanced technologies at this little event, and all these great people. Foster Gamble, I think, was there. And that was back when the Thrive movie was happening and all my movies were happening. So I filmed all these free energy guys. And in that movie, I also showed the counter rotating vortices of spinning plasma. And maybe next month when we do a show, you can grab the spinning crop circle videos that I did, because you'll see it. When you
Yeah.
spin a crop circle, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, that's something, and your brain goes schematic for something. It's a propulsion, it's moving, and then it just takes off in your head. But when you reverse the center and run it the opposite direction, counter rotating, that's when you really see the information. And again, my movies must have been a threat to those that you mentioned,
Yeah.
because I don't even have a distributor for the last bunch of years. I had three different ones. They all got an F minus, maybe F minus minus, because
What?
all they did was hide my films. It was really a sad thing. And I'm like, what is it? All dumb boys in this entire, like, why can't you guys deal with the reality that this is real? But they were really too busy dissing. So there you go.
Wow. No girls
These
allowed. No
no
girls allowed.
girls allowed. Yeah.
What are we in a clubhouse here or whatever? And I think this one was this the same one that was in yours that it was stage one, or am I thinking of a different one?
A different one, but that is an interesting one. I was in a lot of those.
That is
God,
just so crazy to me. I mean, like, just the wonder, like how beautiful they are. Like some of them are just, it's impossible to me. Some of them would be at like, how the hell would you fake this one? I'm sorry, but like, it's just like, explain to me how somebody fakes like one of those, especially, a lot of them.
overnight
Yeah,
in
yeah,
England,
in
there's only
nighttime.
3 hours of darkness.
Oh, that's
And
right.
the farmers now, we're starting to clamp down and say, we don't want to lose our crop. We don't want a bunch of researchers stomping on our crop. So
Yeah.
we created a book called Crop Circle Etiquette. You don't walk, you only walk in the tram line, and you put some coins in for the farmers to pay for the crop that they lost. And so, there was a real dance between the people, us, that came in from all these different countries, and the farmers really got a kick out of it, because to them it was a mystery. And, they'd see all these people that were on TV coming into their yard and, experiencing what happened last night. And they found it fascinating until 2014,
Huh.
2015, 2016. The farmers were told by the military uh, that they needed to stop letting us in the farm fields and they needed to actually mow out any crop circle that came on their property the next day to
What?
delete the information. They didn't say that. They said so that people won't come onto your land and ruin your crop. And if you don't acquiesce, uh, I don't want to get in trouble with that country, but they weren't going to get their monthly stipends, the farmers, if they didn't behave and cut
Wow.
us out, not let us in. And it got real weird all of a sudden, and it was infiltrated. And it was when I was dealing with, I don't know, 234. Oh, yes, I do know. 234 stores on Amazon were selling my movies fake, like they weren't me.
Oh my God.
Somebody spent some serious money. I mean, the 234 Amazon stores, the Vimeo, I think we had, it used to be Vimeo.
Yeah.
My movies for rent instead of my 4.99 were $750.36 to rent my movie.
What?
They did
Wow.
they did everything to hide my work, and the guys were all really mean, and it's not like, I wasn't there to have fun. I had a
Yeah.
lot of people that were, the real researchers we were all just loving each other. But the people that they were pushing to the top, the bad actors, now we know they're called, were really stepping on the good stuff. And I
Yeah.
lost all of my favorite people. Jim Mars died, Stanton Friedman died,
Ugh.
Dolores Cannon died, Dr. Roger Lear that was taking out implants died. I mean, all the people that were in my
Wow.
film died. They were all dying. And then when I left my final event that I could stand, I got whacked at the airport and I fell to the floor. I don't know what hit me, but it took me years. And whatever hit me and dropped me to the marble floor at the Phoenix airport wasn't a good thing. And last year, I had both hips replaced because of it.
Oh my
And
God.
5 years ago, they realized, whoever they are, that I was still alive and barely moving because my hips were ruined. Somebody put uranium in my garage, another team player.
Oh
And
my word.
so I should have been dead 5 years ago, but instead, I got hooked up with this miracle molecule from a lab in Houston, Texas called C60,
Wow.
carbon 60.
Now, was that
And
actually 5 years ago? Like the timing of that happened to be almost perfect, huh?
6 years ago, yeah. It was when I was whacked twice. I was desperate to heal. And somebody brought me some samples from the lab that we own in Texas. And I took a spoonful of it, and all of a sudden I got up and started to walk. And I'm like, no way. Pretty amazing. And I kept getting bottles from this creepy guy. And then I got
That's
hooked
creepy
to the
guy.
lab. Oh, he was super creepy. Um, but he brought me this great C60, and so I ended up communicating with the guys that owned the lab, and they were like, "You're the girl that's talking about us on all these shows. You're the reason we're getting all these calls." And I was, "You're the reason I'm still alive. So let's be friends." And they were like, "Let's be partners."
Oh,
And I'm
awesome.
like, "Okay, that'd be like rocking." So they said, "NDA coming in an hour." Boom, it showed up. And they said, "How soon can we fly you down?" I was like, "Great." So we made an appointment in a couple of weeks. And the Friday before I was going to fly out Monday, I was at my house, which was way up on a cliff on purpose. Even though my hips were terrible, it was 49 steps to get in my house up a cliff. But I was
For
uh,
protection, I'm guessing, right?
protection. Yeah, I just was uncomfortable with the dangers in Boulder, Colorado, really bad people. And so I was taking this product a lot and I was detoxing from the uranium and sweating profusely every 2 hours. I'd have to change my clothes because this product is so strong. I've taken it ever
Nice.
since. And going to meet the guys at the lab, it was unbelievable lab, like massive. They did industrial grade C60 since 1991 for tires, batteries, photocells, ink. And then they started doing this better stuff, ESS60, for people and pets. Can we go from the crop circle images to the C60EVO.com forward slash
Absolutely.
Spaceshot76? Because
Let me
I
get that.
want your audience to know that I authentically was the crappie girl. I had more fun than a barrel of monkeys for 10 years until the farmers had to not let us in, until they had to almost disrespect us, and not
Really?
say why. It was really awful, the infiltration. And it's interesting now because I'm watching the even the C60 field infiltrated by some really scummy people. And it's like everything good, you just got to learn what to avoid to, stay out of what's difficult. If you can make the whole thing a little smaller, people,
This thing? Oh, let me see. Let me
yeah,
see what I'm at. I'm at 100. Let me see.
make it
Like,
50 maybe.
here we go. 50. I'll put you over here, maybe. There we go. Yeah, and there's a lot of knockoffs too. That people try to copy things in different products, and that's unfortunately it's not just your product. Many other products people try to bootleg and copy off of and try to get the sales on and stuff. So clearly, you guys were the first in the field because wasn't it your company that basically was the hub or the main hub where all the other businesses and companies out there were taking their samples from, right? Originally, like essentially, you guys were sending out all the samples to all the other scientists and people all over the country. No?
Well, we were selling industrial grade, and I wasn't with them back then, but they were selling to research institutions around the world for, like I said, ink, batteries, photocells, tires. And it wasn't until 2012 where they said they were starting to get calls, people saying, how much of this should I take? And it was just black powder, carbon 60.
Hmm.
And they were like, people take. No, it's for ink and batteries. And so they did this huge test, a peer-reviewed test in Paris called the Paris Bhakti Study, BAATI, and they actually used olive oil from our lab, this exact formula that we sell today. And they tested it on lab rats, which is how they do all kinds of different supplements. But these lab rats had the most extreme benefits. Instead of being toxic, our oil, edible oil, proved to be 90% life extension, and these rats died without tumors for the first time. So 90% life extension is by far the most advanced life extension product in history. Here it is, the prolongation of lifespan by rats by repeated oral administration. And we didn't do it, it was done at the Paris University, but they used our product that we are selling today. And everybody online that's selling the crap from China, I'm sorry, it's industrial grade carbon 60 from China that you'll see advertised all over, even sponsored across all of my beautiful ads. They're slamming us with spam. And if you see C60 and it's a sponsored ad, all I can say is I you just recognize it as not ours. ESS60 is the only safe C60 for people and pets. And here we are finding out that it actually prolongs your life up to almost twice as much. And it feels similar to what I learned with the crop circle seeds, like the seeds that are truly affected by nature, by the spinning plasma of the earth, are extending the benefits of the plants just being voraciously healthier and delivering more food. So now we've got a carbon fullerene that, when cleaned to the proper level, which we do, which is ESS, elemental, safe is the main word, spheres with 60 carbon atoms. It is a miracle molecule, and it won the Nobel Prize in 1996 for its excellence in almost every application tested. And what does this have to do with what we've been talking about, crop circles and C60? Is if you know anybody that tells the truth, they're going to need to protect that truth. And there's something about the ESS60 in my brain. I call it Evo brain. Like
Yeah.
when most people like me should be really stressed about whatever is going on, it's like I'm not. I just kind of smile and say, oh, well, that's too bad. You want some Evo? To fix that? So I find that it's been my remedy to everything. I start my day putting it in my coffee. We have the MCT coconut oil, fabulous in coffee. And if you want a big boost for your brain, you take the olive oil, which is literally, it holds twice as much of the molecule as the MCT does. And additionally, almost as strong, we make avocado oil. And everybody's going to love one of them because the flavors are really strong. They're organic, real oils from real farms, not Costco. And ESS60 made in America, not China. And I don't mean to diss China as if they're making, shall we say, cheap products that,
Oh,
shall we
hell yeah,
say,
they are.
quality. But this is a sure thing, kind of like my movie that won Best Feature Film and the People's Choice Award, my final film. It's like the real deal. This is how crop circles are made. And this is why we want to give them our attention. The messages are beautiful, but ultimately, you're right. I think you're really right, Mike, that it's about advanced technologies in food, in propulsion, in schematics for advanced technologies. But here we are now where I'm dealing with an advanced technology. Do you remember years ago when CBD first came out and it
Oh
was
yeah.
this breakthrough and everybody's going, oh, marijuana, it's got to be illegal. No, it's a
Yeah.
different plant, dude.
Yeah.
Totally different plant. But everybody was panicking and now everybody does CBD when they hurt, or a lot of people do. I think that ESS 60 is the new CBD. It's
Oh
going
yeah.
to be the big breakthrough when more people get on it. But it's my favorite gift to give everybody I know and love. My mom is 96. The only bad thing about her on Evo every day is her brain is still on fire. She reads big fat books, but all of her friends are bailing left and right
Oh,
around her. Yeah, so I mean, at 96, she's still on fire. It's because she takes the Evo. Her helper is a beautiful 50-year-old lady from Thailand who's lived with migraines for decades. And she has a shot every 3 months for her terrible migraines. I love her. She takes care of my mom. So she says, oh, I give her the stuff every day. And I said, why don't you take a spoonful, see if it do anything for you? And I sent her a bottle the next month. She hasn't had a migraine in over a year.
really? Now, I was gonna mention that, Patty, because I don't know if I don't think I've discussed it with you. I know some people, my viewers will probably hear me mention from time to time that, I had a nasty migraine. I had to take it. Like, I used to have migraines so bad that I would have to take a day out of work because it would get to the point where, for some reason, I would literally vomit. My head would be so bad that I would have to vomit, and that would happen about twice a year. And then beyond that, I would get other headaches. Let's just say in a month, I would probably have at least five days of headaches. And I'm telling you, like, hand to God, hand to God. I have also CBD in my cupboard that I have not touched in months because I don't have the need to touch it. But also the headaches. I don't even want to. I'm knocking on wood if you guys can hear my noise suppression, so maybe you can't. But I don't want to curse myself. But I have been very fortunate. Let's just say I've been very fortunate in the headache department for the last many months, and I would attribute it to such to take because the only thing I'm really taking in the morning is the C60. And I've been doing the caplets. Been me and you, of course, toasted with the with the teaspoon today. So I feel like I'm like maybe I had a beer and a half now, so I'm like kind of feeling good. I'm not feeling like woozy or out of it or anything. But I did have a question for you too, because I don't know if it's obviously it's got C60 in it and it's got olive oil or whatever. Is this something I could sneak into like my son's mac and cheese? Or is it not? Or did you say something about age for kids, not to at a certain age, or what?
Uh, we go 15 and up, 16 and up, only because we haven't experimented with kids or pregnant women or nursing women.
Mhm.
So that's the only place we draw the line is kids and nursing and babies. We
Yeah, he'll
just have,
be he'll be
uh,
15 next week, 2 weeks from now.
I'd go for it. And you might even, does he like avocado?
No, he likes mac and cheese and pasta
Okay.
and pasta and mac and cheese and pasta. Oh my
The
God.
olive oil's got a strong olive oil taste. So as long as he likes olive oil, pour it on. But the MCT, coconut, might be softer for him to
Hmm.
not notice. Nice butter and MCT coconut oil. Yeah, that's what I put in my morning coffee. I absolutely love it. It's got a delightful flavor. The olive oil's real olive. It's strong. We get it from a farm in Cyprus religiously, not Costco. And again, that makes a big difference when you've got majorly prime olive oil that's peppery. It's almost too strong. Some people have called or written and said, this olive oil is so strong. Is it rancid? And we're like, no, it's real olive oil. You go to an Italian restaurant, even a good one, and they'll put the dressing on and then they'll say, would you like some cracked pepper? What you don't know is it's because they're using cheap olive oil. Good
Ah,
olive oil is peppery. And so when you take a shot of our olive oil, it's like, boo! You can definitely taste the real olive oil. It's top of the line. And there's two ingredients in this bottle: organic oil and ESS60. And again, remember the difference between C60. If for the first 2 years, every time I said C60 on the air, Chris would immediately, my lab partner, would say, oh, you're talking about industrial grade? It's like, oh, I mean ESS60. And the difference is why we're called C60 Evo is we took the industrial grade C60 and we cleaned it to become safe for people and pets. And so we did the evolution of the C60 industry to become ESS60. So C60 is industrial, ESS60 is safe for people and pets. And there's a big difference. And that's why we took our olive oil and we mixed it with the ESS60 molecule and a little salmon flavor. And we have that for cats, little bacon flavor for dogs. And I'm getting tearjerker testimonials. Two of our influencers thought they were going to have to put their dog to sleep 2 years ago. And within 2 weeks, one, 3 weeks, the other, their dogs are going for a walk with them still 2 years later. They're both still alive. And these
awesome.
guys are loyal to their ESS60 for dogs. So we do wonderful gift sets for the holidays coming up. There's the dog lover set, bottle for you, bottle for the dog. But it's a nice gift to give people if they got a cat they love or a dog they love, get them the pet lover set. If people travel, that's when we encourage the capsules. And again, they're only made in olive oil because it's the good stuff, the strongest.
I like the
I,
taste of it.
yeah,
I do.
yeah, Greeks and Italians are like, oh my God, finally the good stuff in a bottle, in a capsule. So the capsules, a lot of people that don't like the taste or the feel of oil on their tongue. But like you said with your knee, going down the stairs, all of a sudden it doesn't hurt anymore. The reason that I had my hips replaced was I was bone on bone and grinding, but I went 2 extra years. And when I finally had to give in 2 years ago, a year and a half, I went to see surgeons and I took my x-rays and they just looked at me like, what are you crazy? How are you? How have you been walking? And I said, well, it doesn't hurt that much. And they're like, there's no way. How have you been walking? Your x-rays are horrific. And I said, well, I take this product every day, this oil. And they're like, yeah, we don't want to hear that because obviously it works. But anyway, I'm like sampling my purse. Can I give you this? Because it'll save your clients. And they're like, no, we don't want to save them. We want to
We want to cut
make
them
money.
up.
Oh God. Anyway, the third doctor I went to was the ticket. He was fabulous. But my scars, even, which are long, I almost couldn't see it one yesterday. I'm like, God, I'm healing so fast. But the fact that I got 2 extra years bone on bone is because it's like putting really high quality oil in an old Mercedes. If you use cheap oil, the car's going to ping.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but if you use the good stuff, you're going to feel a whole lot better. You're going to run a whole lot better. And when we read these testimonials, and again, because the FDA, I'm going to say it's just a coincidence that all these people are no longer having migraines. And it's just a coincidence that people rarely get sick that take these products. But peer reviewed tests using our product from our lab prove that ESS60 delivers 125 times the power of vitamin C as an antioxidant. A non peer reviewed test said 172 times the power of vitamin C as an antioxidant. Needless
Wow.
to say, you take a spoonful in the morning, you're probably not going to get sick because your antibodies are boosted. But the thing I love is what it does to the brain. Now, have you noticed any difference in your focus?
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to mention stuff because it has to do with the taste as well. I don't know if you've ever heard of the product. What is it called? Mind Magic. Have you? I'm sure you've probably heard it. It's like some little shot that you're supposed to take that's supposed to give you a cognitive boost and blah 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 blah. Well, I'll tell you what, Patty. Legitimately, I have a trick when I have to take stuff that tastes gross. I'll plug my nose. I'll take a little sip of something else like orange juice, and then I'll take whatever it is, and then I'll take another sip of orange juice and swish it down. With this stuff, I was just like, oh my god, it is awful. This brain magic or mind magic stuff. If anybody out there has tried it, let me know in the chat because it is just the most awful taste and the clarity it gives you. I didn't notice any difference, to be honest with you. With this stuff, I do. I feel, and the best way I can tell you as far as, you have the antioxidant, you have your brain clarity, but also, like I was mentioning earlier, the best way I can describe it is almost like I'm injecting a pillow essentially maybe under my kneecap. And the best way I can say is it's like it's lubing, like you're saying, like with the oil in an old car or something like that. It's like it's lubing up my knee because I feel like before, like especially if I wake up first thing in the morning and go downstairs, I feel like if I'm about to take another step, my left kneecap is about to crack in half. Like it really feels that bad. But then after, 15, 20 minutes after taking a few of these capsules, I'm telling you, it's it's like magic. But and the taste again, like I said before, the taste is just great. I take it. I don't plug my nose. I don't do a precursor drip or anything or a post drip. I just take it, boom, and it's good. And especially easier to take the capsules. But like I said, I don't mind the taste. I actually enjoy the taste of the oil. So put it right on a spoon, gulp, no problems, and I'm good. So it's got multi effects. Like you mentioned, antioxidant, also helping with the pain and whatnot, but also the clarity of your brain. I feel I'm kind of going through what you were talking about earlier when I'm talking a lot faster and stuff like that. But it's like my brain is working faster than my mouth is right now.
Yeah, I'm on fire when I take it halfway through the day, and I'm going to head out and go to Denver today and hang out with some people and have some fun. So I'm
Nice.
glad to have a little extra energy, but it's one of those rare things. It's the only thing I've ever put in my mouth and felt. And I have a lot of expensive supplements that I used to buy and I used to take. And now I'll run my pendulum over 10 bottles and pick three, and I'll add that to my ESS60 in the morning. But if I go 10 days without any supplements and only the ESS60, I'm just as good. I don't notice any benefits from all the other supplements I was taking. And I think that a lot of people are very fooled by what's on the market being promoted and advertised and sponsored, when
Yeah.
they're just sell you stuff in a bottle that really doesn't make a difference. This makes a difference. And most of our sales, I can't even believe this number. 70% of our sales in the last quarter were resubscriptions, which
Hmm.
means that we give you 20% off if you sign up for a monthly subscription. And you can cancel it anytime, but somehow people don't. So I wake up
Hmm.
in the morning and there's 100 sales already, and they're all resubscribes from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, last month. And you save money, but you also get it sent to you religiously. And a lot of people initially will go $80 or $100 for, a month's worth of put it on a spoon. And it's like, that's a lot. And then you think
Mm-mm.
nothing.
Mm-mm.
If you actually just take a spoonful of that, you don't really need any of these other things that cost a lot more than $100 a month.
Oh
Our
yeah.
facial serum that she's showing here was something that I had to test my guy partners in a lab because when
I
I
like the
met them,
smell. I like the smell of it.
yeah, the essence is rosemary. And
Hmm.
the reason for rosemary is it takes your dreams into a higher state when you're sleeping. And in the morning, when you put it on a clean face, it wakes you up. So the facial serum has a base of chia seed oil. I did it with an herbalist, and the results are stunning from our face serum. So this is our starter set. We like to recommend the face and the olive oil to eat to take on a spoon, but it is the easiest and the cleanest products that I've ever used. And now my kitchen counter has far fewer bottles. It's just got the prices of ESS60 oils, and my facial serums. I don't use all that expensive stuff that I can't pronounce anymore because why would I when I've got something this clean, this natural? And when my partners started using it, they're all guys, they were like, oh my God, this is good. About a year later, he calls me and did this product, which we're seeing 2 bottles, and that's our facial serum plus a peptide formula, and it's in 2 bottles so that we could avoid the chemicals to be emulsifiers to put the two oil and water products together. If you just build it in the palm of your hand with 2 squirts, 1 pump, whatever, build it. I just mean freshly activate the hair serum and the face serum with peptides. A lot of people are getting great results. And there it is. That's the face serum with the peptides. And you just activate it fresh each time, and it is potent. So we have 2 face formulas, and now we also have this incredible body cream. Have you tried the tangerine body cream?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time, Patty?
Have you tried the body cream, the tangerine body cream?
No, I'm not gonna lie. I've not tried that body cream yet, to be honest with you. And actually, I wanted to ask you, like, what does that do for you? As far as is that just like um, is it just like a lube or a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a refreshener for your skin, or is it just overall like a body lotion?
It's got the ESS60 miracle molecule in it, which makes it not like any other body lotion. But I'll tell you what you can do with it is hand it to your wife and say, honey, I got you a present. And watch her face when she opens it and smells it. And you can report back to me in an email. It'll get you some points. It'll get you some points.
Really?
And then when you smell her, she will smell so good that you'll find, wow, your skin is really softening. You might end up putting it on your arms and asking me for another bucket of it next month. It is so good. Most of my friends say I want to just take a bath in it. But all the tough guys at our lab that have been, no, Patty, we don't do facial wissy girly products. They all use the products and they're not girly anymore. They are unisexual and everything in between. People, everybody takes the oils and everybody uses the face and body creams. And when my partners were like, okay, you're right, you're right, you're right. These things are good. They fix everything. We also have a lip balm. So I want that also. Everything I come up with pretty much is a yes because everything works. I mean, we've had testimonials head to toe that would blow your mind. But when people want to know, why am I thinking clearly? Why is the brain fog going away? Why do I finally feel God in my heart again? You know, it's like we've been tortured. We've really been tortured the last bunch of years. And I don't think people have any idea what we've been through, how much it's done to our health, mental, physical, spiritual.
Mm,
But when you put something in your body that's like a roto rooter to clear out all of the toxins, and then it comes out when you go to the bathroom, in my opinion, what you're doing is you're clearing the mitochondria, the powerhouse of every cell, and the brain has far more mitochondria than anywhere else in the body. And for that reason, this intuitive miracle molecule goes into the body and it knows where to go. It knows where you're missing, where you need cleaning, is a polite way to say
mm.
it. And I don't speak scientifically. I speak like a testimonial walking person because I am my best customer. My mom, my kids, we all use the products. And when they get low, I send them more. So my daughter has 2 cats that are 18 and 20.
Oh wow.
My mom has a Shih Tzu that's 17. They don't stay that long, but they're taking our product. They're going to last forever. They're going to be like petrified rocks in 10.
Well, I'll tell you what else, Patty. I was taking before, but since taking the olive oil and the C60 EVO, specifically, remember, don't forget that. Um,
Yeah.
I was taking methylene blue before, right? And they say that started out as like a fabric dye, and then whatever. And I was feeling pretty good on it. I'm not gonna lie, I did feel pretty good on it. But then I started taking this, and I think I have 3 capsules left in my bottle that I've had in there for about 3 weeks that I've not touched. Because I used to need it at work, like first thing in the morning. I needed to wake up and oh boy, I'm dragging my butt today. But I don't need it anymore. I just, like you said, like once you start finding something that works, all the other things start to fall away. And then you can actually test this yourself. I mean, I wouldn't want to not take this stuff for the next few days, but my guess is if I do, I'm going to wake up tired and stiff tomorrow and I'm going to be all groggy. That's just my guess. I haven't done it and I don't want to do it. But like I said, other things go away once you find things that are better to replace them with. I think that's fair. Um,
It saves so much money for people. And an average vet bill for my
ugh,
kids, $1,400. Take the product, stay away from the vet. Take the product, avoid your doctor. I haven't been to a doctor since Joe Obama destroyed the medical system of this country. I've not been to a doctor. Plus, I live in Colorado, Wokeville. So we're all,
Molly.
they all have to have their flags and their, you
Ugh,
know, test signs out front of the doctor clinics in Boulder. I can't resonate. And
mm-mm.
again, I'm so proud of my kids. Our school, our elementary school has a principal that transed his child at 6 years old,
Oh my
and
God.
your dresses as a boy, some girl, some days, and a woman some days, and it's got a special name. And they're training the kids right here in Colorado to think that that's okay. And I'm going, am I just old, or is this like really sick? Because
No, it's
I
sick.
don't do it. Yeah, thank you.
Big time.
So the solution isn't to go and try and ignore the people that are leading these schools into whatever. We're road schooling our kids. We are not even going to participate. And that's how I feel about dark pharma right now. I don't go to doctors because I don't want to participate. When I finally got my hips replaced, I picked the right doctor and my recovery has been insanely good. And from behind, when I went for my 6 month checkup, these nurses were coming behind me and they go, "Excuse me, are you one of Dr. Gold's clients?" And I said, "Yeah, why?" And they said, "We can tell by the way you walk. You are so balanced. He had to be your doctor." And I was just like, "Oh, it shows." But walking is such a beautiful thing for me. I did it right, but I also keep moisturizing my joints, lubricating my joints. So I highly recommend that you now hit your 3 bottles that I also sent you of the 3 different oils. Just take it on a spoon if you run out of the caps. And then you send me a grocery list because we work together now. And I will
Okay.
always make sure that you've got what you need. But I'm telling you, you're going to have so much fun when you give your wife the big orange bucket. It looks like this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
That's oh,
probably gift wrapped it like a pumpkin.
it's bright
And
orange
we,
underneath there. But yes,
yeah,
we did get the beautiful gift wrap packages. I thought that was a nice touch with all of the wrapping around it, like the first one you were holding up.
there's Yeah, I mean, we do great Christmas shopping. You could have a one-stop shop where you just say, "I want this for her. Here's the address," and you can trust us to send it out in really pretty tissues, nicely wrapped. And you just say, "There's a gift coming to you from C60 Evo," but we ship all of your Christmas gifts for you, so you don't have to even do any struggle. And we're just about to put out our Christmas suggestions, but there's nothing you give from our company that doesn't make people happy. The face serum is stellar. The body cream smells so good. And the oils make a difference in your energy, spiritual, physical, and mental. You're just going to feel the difference. And to be able to give somebody a gift for $100 that is going to change how they feel every day and night and help them not get sick. I don't think there's a better gift than radiant health. And that's what we're doing at Evo. And I never thought this would be like on my bucket list to sell supplements, but take it, my family takes it, and there's nothing that works like this that I've ever experienced. And I've been here a long time. I'm 72 and I'm getting younger every day. So I can't wait to hear what your wife has to say. But when you smell this on her, you're going to put it on you too. It's tangerine and citrus. And
Mm,
all of her products I designed with a lady who really cares about aromatherapy. So
nice.
you will find that any any of our products, oh, my hands smell so nice. I put it on before the show. Yeah, all of our products make you smell good and feel good. So you can't lose.
Awesome.
C60EVO.com/Spaceshot76. That's our landing page. And if you pull it up, you're going to see exactly what he's been showing you and different choices in the store. But make sure to use the discounts that we offer. And he has a secret code on this page lower down that'll get you 10% off at checkout, even if you save on other discounts, such as all of our gift items that are 2 or more items we put together. 15% off we've already taken off to put them together as a little gift set, 20% for monthly subscriptions, and 25% off for a case of 12 items. And we sell a lot of cases, especially during the holidays, because you can get a whole bunch of gifts and save 25%. But remember to use Spaceshot76 secret code for another 10% off at checkout. You're going to get a kick-ass discount on a case. So no matter what, you're going to get your money's worth because C60 Evo makes a difference. And we
Big
need to
time.
feel better. We need to think clearly because we are in the most challenging times this earth has ever experienced.
I can't echo that enough. And just so everybody knows, those links are down below in the description chat for in the description box below the chat box there. You guys can click on that. And I wanted to thank, because I saw it go away earlier, but Chris Schaus had gifted out 5 subscriptions to the channel, and Greg3012, who happens to be from, and I don't know if where those crop circles were in more in the northern or the southern part of England, but Greg
Heather.
30 southern. Okay, Greg's here is from the northern part of England. We found that out last week. He dropped a $20 Rumble rant. And he was talking about fractals, and yeah, some of those crop circles definitely has some fractals inside those as well, and just gorgeous pictures too. I mean that I think is what originally brought me to the crop circles themselves, were the just the stunning images, because I was like, there's no way somebody could fake those things. So thank you out there to that one, and I'm just going to thank a couple folks here. Mr. Swickley, who had gifted the can over on the Foxhole, and I'm releasing the scratch offs, and I did over on D Live, where P Dancer, Saint Cosmic, and this is a cucumber and a deer. So Saint Cosmic Dildo and Biblical Smackdown are the top contributors over there on the Live, and I've released the old scratchings. But Patty, thank you so much for coming on here. And this has been a topic that I've been, like I said before I got into reporting on that infamous letter of the alphabet back in 2018, I was consuming, unbeknownst to me, a lot of your stuff, a lot of the other folks that you had mentioned, your friends, that a lot of them, unfortunately, who have passed away. I was just voracious as far as just consuming, and I had no idea why, right? And then, around end of 2017, I think I started to realize why that was, why I was consuming all of this information, was to later have it to discuss it with these wonderful folks here that are in the chat today. So I guess everything happens for a reason, and you're kind of Forrest Gump like meeting Penny and Lefty there, posthumously meeting Dr. Lefty there was an interesting road, which all led us here to the same place. But you're right. At the end of the day, they are inundating us spiritually, physically, mentally, and I think now is the time that I think we have a better chance to set the world straight, more than we did in years past. But as the time goes on, I truly do believe, and like I said, guys, over the years, I've talked about this before, Patty. I've had other companies that say, hey, you want to do an ad for this? It's like, yeah, you put this stuff in your gas tank and it makes your car run better. And I'm like, nah, I know about cars a lot, and I know that will destroy your car. So I don't do a lot of products over the last 8 years, and I only do spots with wonderful companies like yours that I know actually work, because I'm never going to bring stuff to my viewers and say, like, I think this stuff is good, when I don't believe it is. So I truly do believe that this C60 Evo is actually really, really good, and all the products that I've tried are really, really wonderful. And I do appreciate you coming on and letting us know about that, and also about the about your past mystery life there of the documentarian-ess. I don't know if that's a word, documentarian-ess, a female documentarian. I think I just made it up, but your foray into crop circles, that was like a trip down memory lane for me, and I really enjoyed it. So I appreciate you coming on with us.
It was a real treat, and I will always be available to tell the truth in times of universal deceit. I think it's more important than ever. And I also am amazed at how good I feel considering what I've lived through. But I look at everything as, what's the solution? And so now my new thing is C60 Evo is the solution to evolution. That's
Nice.
my new thought is that it really is. It's going to help people get through these hard times with a clean brain, and we don't have to suffer from everything that they're throwing at us. I will say that Bobby Kennedy Jr. has received 3 collection sets from me of our products.
Nice.
I am hoping that someday he will talk about it, but I just put out a text to my friend this morning and I said, contact Bobby again, please. I want to get him all the products so that his wife can bathe in our body cream and then rub it all over him. So yeah,
That would be awesome.
I like the big league players that are doing good for the earth, and we're really glad you're back. YouTube shouldn't have done that. X shouldn't be Xing me because
Oof.
some nasty skank named Doreen at C60. I mean, it's totally fake. But we got to the bottom of what is hacking us. We just haven't been able to get back on X. So it's an interesting time where there's people that are just scared of the good stuff, and frankly, I hope they eat it and go away.
Oh
So
yeah.
we're doing God's work here, and I'm really glad that your audience is, they just gave you back the whole dang deal. And a lot of people are getting their whole dang deal back on YouTube because I think that they finally squeezing the, shall we say, the mitochondria clean on social media also. But the solution to evolution is a clear mind and honesty. And we're moving toward it. I'm really optimistic.
Yeah, and I would say there's not too much of a better recommendation than you trying out the product and then becoming the CEO of the company. Like, that's a great testimonial right there alone. So, yeah, this has been Patty Greer, the CEO of C60 Evo, and that was a wonderful little trip down memory lane of showing us about the crop circles. And again, you guys can check out the product there in the description box, the C60, and then you see / Spaceshot76 at the end there. We'll get you guys a little bit better discount. And I hope to talk to you again soon. And I can't ever forget to thank the mods because they're always out there dropping the links for us and whatnot and helping us out in so many different ways. So thank you again so much, Patty, and I appreciate you coming on. And as I say at the show, and I'm going to add Patty into this because I know she would agree with this. Me and Patty appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots out there for tuning in. And until that next video, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace. And
Peace.
which one can I play? I can't play the takedown. Brackets and jackets only on YouTube. All right, peace out.
Hello, guys. Something special is happening in here. That's right. It's brackets and jackets. Bringing it back for brackets and jackets. Special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks. Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right. You see this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right. They want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right, Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jacket's Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. The Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton. And Epstein is Haiti. And Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Epstein Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. Dropping red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens of islands.